How's it going, everybody? Today we're starting our new series. It's going to be 3 parts in how we process our alpaca fiber into yarn. Starting with this one, we are going to do how we wash our fiber. So let's jump into it.
Live your life within the moment, and don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away.
So you want 3 things to wash your alpaca fiber. One being Dawn dish soap, because you want something that's very gentle on the fiber, and a large mesh bag. The last thing you need is a hanging basket, and I'll go ahead and show you guys this right now. Here is our hanging basket, and we use this at the end of the process when you're laying out the fiber to dry. Alright, so the fiber I have decided to wash for this video belongs to Chewy. He is a Suri alpaca, and it's important to know that whether you have huacayas or Suris, this washing process works for both types of fiber. Okay, so the easiest way to wash your alpaca fiber is to use a top-loading washing machine. If you don't have one of those, you can use a large pot, but you'll probably have to wash in much smaller batches. You want the water to be warm, not scalding hot and not cold, but you want to fill your washing machine or pot first with warm water. So I'm going to go ahead and get that started. And it's on warm. So we'll get this filled up. Now, while your water's filling, you can kind of give your fiber a good shake, because you want to get all that dirt out. And you see all the dirt that's coming off of it just from me shaking it. So that's a good first step. And there we go. Alright, important point. You don't want to add your fiber first and then fill your container with water. This can cause the fiber to felt. So make sure you fill your container with water, whether it be a top loader or a large pot, and then add your fiber. You don't want it to felt. Trust me. Our top loader is full, and we're ready for the next step. We're going to add Dawn, okay? For the first soak, I usually add a little more than a squirt, but you know, don't go overboard. So I'm just going to add a few circles, and that's good. And then I usually give it a little swirl. Looks good. And now we can add our fiber. So, and submerge it when you add it. Spin. And now that our fiber's in there, we basically want it to soak for 20 to 30 minutes. If it's really dirty, I find that you can soak it for longer and you'll have better results. So for this one, I'm going to set a timer for about 25 minutes, and then I'm going to come back and repeat this process until it's as clean as I want it. And then on the last soak, we're not going to add any soap, and we're going to let it spin a little bit, but we'll get to that in a minute. Alright, and once it's soaked for about 20 to 30 minutes, you want to take it out. And when I take it out, I give it a little wring, and then I put it into the mesh bag. So we go, whoop, right into the mesh bag. You do that with all of it until you fill up your mesh bag. Then, of course, drain your water from your container. And while I'm emptying the top loader or container and refilling it, I let the fiber hang in its mesh bag, and I even give it a little extra squish. And I do that with the soap 1 to 2 times, sometimes 3. And then when I do the last load, the last soaking, I don't add any soap so it can rinse. And then I even let my top loader do the final spin to let the water really get out of the fiber, because next we're going to lay it out to dry. Alright, so I've soaked my fiber twice with Dawn soap for 25 minutes each, and now I'm getting to the final one, and I'm just going to fill it with water and soak it just like I did with no soap. Alright, so now I'm just going to dump the fiber in for its final time. And I don't fill up the water quite as high on the last one either. But we're going to leave it here for about 20 minutes on this last go. And then I'm going to show you my little spin secret. Alright, so it has soaked 20 minutes for its final time, and now, because I know that it's going to be laying out to dry, I'm going to do a bit of a spin cycle, but you want to be really careful when you're doing this. I know my washer really well because I've been washing fiber a while, so just know your washer and don't overdo it. So, what I'm going to do, close it up and put it on. And it'll slowly empty out all the water and give it a little spin to start the drying process. Okay, so it's spinning, and then I stop it, and then I like to pull it off the walls and then kind of shake it out and give it a good shake. And then just let it spin for a little bit more. Alright, so I let it spin a little bit and then I stop it. And then I kind of feel the fiber, I shake it out a little bit just so it's not clumping. Then let it spin a little bit more. Just get kind of as much liquid out as possible without ruining the fiber. And of course, if you don't want to risk this, don't do it. Pull it out, squeeze it out on your mesh bags. Squeeze it out and then stick it in your mesh bag so that you don't worry about felting it, but this is looking really good. So spin it just a little bit more. Alright, so I'm done spin drying, and I'm just going to take it all and stick it in my mesh bag. And then I'm going to move it to the hanging basket so that I can leave it out to dry. Alright, so I emptied our mesh bag of wet fiber onto the hanging basket. And I actually have heating lamps hooked up to shine on the fiber, and you can do that, that's fine. You can also put it in a nice sunny spot. I always make sure that I turn the fiber kind of regularly, maybe every hour, just so that the fiber is evenly drying. You don't want some to be wet on the bottom and then you go to card and it's nasty. So just make sure you're turning your fiber and it'll dry in no time. Alright, so this fiber is all washed and dried. I'm sure if you look closely you'll find some chunks. You can remove those with your hands. If they're really tangled in there, don't worry about it, because when you card the fiber into bats, it gets rid of most of those big chunks. But the washing process is really about getting that dirt out, and this looks like really clean, luxurious fiber. So part 2, we're going to card this fiber into bats. So look forward to doing this, and we'll see you next time.